Warning, this video contains strong language because the Sword for Truth really sucks. Viewer discretion is advised. Fuck Sword for Truth. Okay, cut that, end it there, we're done. It's gonna be one of my 3-second reviews. It's gonna be funny because it's so short and people won't expect something like that, so just upload it and we're good to go. Just like with my Dragon Ball Evolution review. What do you mean you can't? Okay. I don't want to sit here and talk about this all day, but anyways, we just delete that, start over, and I'll do a real review this time. What do you mean it's... Hey everybody, so, Sword for Truth. It sucks, and I have no one to blame for this but myself, because I went out of my way to find this terrible movie. Ever since reviewing Genocyber last week, I had a taste for really bad anime movies. You know, some of the ones that are so bad that they're good. Sword for Truth was not one of them, because Sword for Truth was so bad that it's bad at being bad. Does that make any sense? Neither does this terrible movie here. So how I heard about this was, a friend of mine had reviewed this movie a long time ago, and he said it was the worst anime movie that he had ever seen, and I was like, you know what? I remember that. I want to watch it. It might be something that is funny. It might be so bad that it's good. But of course it wasn't. And I wouldn't say that it's the worst anime movie that I've ever seen, because there's always Chimera, which was bundled with another movie that I had bought. There's like a $1 movie, and I was tricked into watching Yaoi. Get this out of here. Do not watch that movie. But as far as Sword of Truth goes, the second worst anime movie that I have ever seen, I don't even know what they were thinking when they made this movie. Okay, let's do the storyboard here. We've got a princess, and we're gonna have her get captured by some ninjas. How convenient is that? And better yet, there's a random badass walking the streets that can't be hurt by anybody. Let's hire him to go save the princess. Grade A movie quality stuff right here. So we have this guy that's in the middle of the street. He kills this giant tiger because for some reason there's a giant tiger roaming Japan, biting the heads of horses off. It's that big, and this guy just walks by, shing, and cuts it in half, and that would be pretty cool and all. All the fights in this movie, they would be pretty cool and all if they were actually fights instead of just reaction footage. And the reason why I say that there aren't many fights in this movie, despite the fact that this movie only has fights in it, is that you have two people running at each other with their swords drawn, and then you see the screen go black and you see a cut go through the screen. Basically, that's what happens the entirety of the movie. You see two people go at each other and you don't actually see what happens. You just see the fact that they are cut, that they are hurt, that they are dead after the attack is over with, and it is a terrible way to do fights. And I don't know why they went ahead and made this movie, because the story is shit, the fighting is shit, there's no redeeming quality about this movie, and they knew that when they were creating this. That's why they threw in so much gratuitous sex here, which I don't really mind. You know, it's a trashy movie, whatever. You throw in as much sex as you want, but there's so much gratuitous sex here, it doesn't make any sense. Like, one minute you see ninjas fighting against samurai, and the next minute there are two women going at it, just rubbing each other down, and like, what is going on here? There's no continuity with the story. So looking into the plot of this movie, with quotations of course, because it really isn't much of one, the ninjas capture the princess from the samurai, and then the samurai hire a badass to bring the princess back. The reason why the ninjas capture the princess is because they want to trade her for some sort of legendary secret sword that they have, and then the samurai hire a badass off the streets to go and bring the princess back. Typically, how you would expect this transaction to happen is, hello, Mr. Badass, here's piles of money so that you can bring our daughter, the princess, back to us. And that's not how it happens, because what he's actually sent to do is not go and kill people and bring her back. It's actually to take that legendary treasured sword to the ninja and then trade it for her. Anyone could have done that. The ninja could have just came to the beginning of the movie, knocked on their door and said, hey, we plan to capture a princess in order to take the sword, but if you could just give us the sword, then we'll be good. We're not going to bother you anymore. And they should have just given them the sword, because then they had to pay this badass on the street, and oh, it is terrible. And on top of that, why would you kidnap a princess in order to get a sword. First of all, the sword weighs less, it's not going to run from you, and it's not going to scream. Despite the fact that they're ninjas and, you know, those things wouldn't be a problem for them anyways, it's so stupid that they would do that. So here you have this character that goes to bring them back by giving away this legendary sword that they have, and then because he brings her back, the samurai clan, which hired him in the first place, it's a totally stupid scene here. So then, after he gives this guy all of the money, all the doors open up around him, and the guns are pointed at him. And he's like, why are you doing this? I completed the mission, and you're paying me for it. Why are you pointing all these guns at me? And it's simply because he came in contact with the princess. So you hire an assassin, a deadly warrior, to do the job of a delivery boy. And then because he came in contact with the princess, because I guess the princess fell in love with him, that you want to kill him. That's what you get for sending a badass to rescue a princess. Of course she's gonna fall in love with him. He's a badass. Now, then, of course, she comes in. It's a terrible movie. There's no plot here whatsoever. And of course, yes, I've spoiled it for you, but you should thank me for not having to watch this movie. Or if you want to, I mean, go ahead and watch it if you want. So moving on to the overall presentation of this terrible movie, it was made in 1990, and of course the art is very dated. I would have to say that the art is possibly one of the better things in this movie, but I can't even say that because the art is dated. It doesn't look good. I've seen things that are newer that look worse that I like more because of this, and if it wasn't for the animation being so bad, if it wasn't for the story being so bad, and this whole movie being so bad overall, then I would say that the art isn't really that bad, but it just adds to how terrible this movie is. On top of that, the animations are terrible, and they don't animate the fights properly. Everyone looks kind of strange, and it's so weird. So as far as the audio goes, the background musics here are so bland and monotone that they are so boring, and it really matches the scenes perfectly, so I have to give it a bit of a plus there, that the music is just as equally boring as the scenes itself are, so they did some good job in having the consistency of the visuals and the music there. And then on top of that, I watched this in English dub, so you know it only gets worse there. The dub, it's bad, and it's not bad in a good way, where you have people just using gratuitous language, and it's so bad that it's good, really, but they kind of take it seriously, and it's painful to listen to at times. Anyways, if you've seen The Sword for Truth, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, and please, if you watched this movie because of my review, don't blame me for it. I do not want to be held responsible for anyone watching this terrible movie. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.